I was actually supposed to get Prosecco for this, but it is 2 o'clock and I have a lot of work to do today, and I think I would rather stay sober throughout the day. Up until New Year's, we're staying sober. There's been a lot of bottomless brunching lately. Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube. Hope you're all having a good Christmas. I just thought it would be fun to sit down with my Christmas tree and answer some of your relationship dilemmas, relationship advice. Every time I put out a question box, I get hundreds of girls and guys are getting into everyone asking advice, which is lovely and it's really flattering. I don't know how good my advice is, but yeah, there's been a few girls I've been chatting to and I'm fixing their relationships, and I'm like, go me, look at me fixing y'all relationships. I would consider myself quite good at advice, but we'll see. You can be the judge after this video. My last advice video, I think I was in a negative mood and a few people were like, wow, you're brutal. I'm not brutal, I'm honest. So if anything offends you, I'm really sorry. Like, again, I would like to make it clear that I am in no way qualified. I'm not a therapist. I actually don't really know what I'm talking about. This is just me weighing in on your relationships, and look, you've submitted these, so it means you're allowing me to dissect. Also, this video is kindly sponsored by Ana Luisa yet again. I absolutely love working with them. I love jewelry. I love gold jewelry. They have all sorts of stuff on the site, and I'm so happy I got to work with them throughout November and December because they got me all sparkly for Christmas, so I'm loving my life. I got the biggest box of stuff from them the other day, and like, can we just talk about how cute these pouches are? Ana Luisa are a New York based brand. As far as I know, there's no custom charges. I haven't paid for anything, so, and I've ordered from them myself before, so I wouldn't worry too much about that. Right now everything on their website is up to 60% off, which is brilliant. I've had some pieces from them for like a year or two at this stage and they're still perfect and I still wear them all the time. With the bracelets, I don't really take them off, to be honest, besides the bigger ones, but I'll show you what I got this time. So I'm not really like a big earring girl or like big hoop girl, but I do kind of love, this is like the biggest I would go. I absolutely love these. They're like a double hoop and they're gold plated, so they're not going to go green on you. Then I got this cute little necklace. Let me go a bit closer up. So it just has a little gemstone, and yeah, it's really dainty, really cute. I'm such a bracelet gal. I've never been someone to wear bracelets before, and now I like can't stop. So these are the 3 that I have from them that I love. So this is the thick, this is my favorite. So this is the thick link bracelet. It kind of reminds me of like Rolex vibes. Then I have another one which is like really thin, dainty, and then this is another link one. So yeah, I feel like the 3 of them go together quite well. I just absolutely love working with a company, so I'm so grateful I got to work with them again for this video, and my link will be in the description. So I asked you guys over on my Instagram to submit some relationship dilemmas. What are you struggling with? What's going on? Anyway, right, let's get started. Okay, one thing I would like to say is I do get really like worked up over these situations that I know really nothing about besides like the 140 character limit. I'm in love with my boyfriend of 6 years but can't help but feel that I need to be on my own for a while because I'm lost. Please help. Right, so one thing I will say is it's actually quite nice to see a girl kind of wanting to do her own thing, because I feel like it's always been the guys that were like, oh, I can't be in a long-term relationship, I need to experience other things. But recently I've had so many of my like friends or even you guys tell me that, you know, you're thinking of leaving your long-term relationship because you've been in it since you were young and you kind of want to leave and see what else is out there. I just think that's such a natural thing, and as much as you could be in love with someone, sometimes that's not enough if you don't feel like you're whole yourself, you know. And I feel like in a way that's why I'm so grateful I've never been in like a long-term relationship since I was young, because I've really had that time to like grow on my own and realize what I want and I really have like dated and seen like people, been in like a few small relationships, that now I know what I like, you know, and I know what I want. And for someone who obviously has been in our long-term relationship since they were younger, you don't really have that, and I feel like everyone needs it for a future relationship to work. I completely understand that feeling from just having my close friends experience it. So yeah, I think while you're young, if you don't feel like you have enough experience, if you feel like you have a wandering eye, and that doesn't necessarily mean you're looking at other people, but if you're like looking at, oh, what's the possibility of a single life, this could be better, then I kind of think that's a red flag. It doesn't necessarily mean you're gonna go out there and, you know, get with hundreds of men and go on dates and stuff. Yeah, that's really fun, and I would 100% recommend dating around and stuff before you settle down. But yeah, if you haven't watched the movie How to Be Single, please watch that movie. It's such a good movie. I just think that if you have any kind of thought about leaving a relationship and wanting to be on your own, you probably should pursue that, because it's also not fair to kind of be with that person just because you love them, because you need to be in it 100%. And if you're only in it like because of love, that's not enough in my opinion. There's obviously pros and cons to leaving any relationship, but I promise you will never ever regret being single, especially if it means like you bring on more self-growth and stuff like that. Like, you can't ever like, you will never regret that time in your life, you know. And whether you regret breaking up with someone, like, I feel like that always goes away, especially when you meet another person who's like right for you, or when you feel whole yourself, that you'll be like, it wasn't time wasted, you know. Thoughts on long distance relationships. So this question actually got me into trouble last time, because someone asked me, I think it was a guy who said his girlfriend's moved to Australia but he's not going, and do I think that they're gonna work out? And I said no. Sorry, like, shoot me in the head. I don't think a relationship is going to work. I don't think if you were home you would have worked out. I don't think relationships like that would work. And it's not because of the distance, it's because if you don't want to follow your girlfriend, if you've no plans at all to follow your girlfriend over, to move over, then that just means, you know, you just don't see a future with that person unless it's exactly where you want. And obviously that's just not how relationships work. You kind of need to compromise. But do I think long distance relationships work? Absolutely. Like, I'm someone who probably would thrive in a long distance relationship because I'm very independent, and I feel like the only thing with them is you need a lot of security, you need a lot of reassurance and communication, which is really hard to come by in a person, I think. Obviously going to be a lot of work, and there's going to be a lot of, you know, ups and downs, but at the end of the day, the only thing you need is just clear communication skills. And I also feel like, in a way, it's probably, I don't want to say it's better, because I don't know, depends how you look at it. But then imagine like genuinely looking forward to seeing someone every single time, and like filling that time with like just doing loads of activities. Because I feel like if you have someone too close to you, kind of tend to go into a rush and get into a routine, and then you're just not excited about seeing that person, you know. When you are kind of apart and you only see each other like once every 2 weeks, you know, or if you see each other for like, I don't know, a week every month or something like that, you kind of tend to fill that time with activities, and I think that's just healthy, you know. I think it could 100% work. You just need two people who are willing to work for it. Thoughts on dating a younger man? You do you, honestly. Like, if you find a younger guy whose mentality is like on par with yours, then absolutely go for it. Like, don't care, like, you shouldn't care what anyone thinks. I just want to know where you find these men, because it is a struggle finding an old man with maturity levels, you know. But yeah, I mean, I feel like this whole age thing is over anyway, is it? Like, I have a few friends that are dating younger men, and the men are literally like angels. If you like him, who the hell is like gonna judge you for that, you know? So I would say go for it, obviously as long as he's it's legal, you know. So in love with my boyfriend, but I can't depend on him. He lies to me a lot and I can't trust him. Well, you're not in love with him, my love. Let me break it to you. You're in love with the idea that you've built in your head of what he should be like. Now, ask yourself this. If you met this person, would you want him as a friend? I feel like that's the biggest thing. That's the biggest thing. If you want to be friends with that person without any love or without any romantic involvement, like, you probably wouldn't. Why would you want to be with someone who you can't depend on, always lies to you, and like just talks absolute crap all the time? If the answer is no, I wouldn't want them as a friend, then you absolutely do not want them as a life partner. It is really hard to detach yourself from the idea of who you've built up in your head versus who they actually are, because guaranteed those two people, they don't even, like, they're not even on the same planet. Try your best to detach from that situation. Try your best to be realistic. Try to get a little bit more sober in your thoughts. Put the love aside and actually look at the human being that he is. And I think if you're struggling in a relationship, you always have to look a little bit further, you know. I'm always one for living in the moment, but when you're actually in a situation where you don't, like, you're not happy now, you know, and I've said this a million times, if you're not happy in your relationship now, what the hell makes you think you're going to be happy in a few years? So girl, I would run. This one's a long one. This is like a 16-parter. Are we ready? Are we ready? Right. September to December last year was when I met my ex. I was in a tough place financially and mentally. I was escorting. He didn't know. He found out at Christmas. I stopped, reached out to fam for help. We had a toxic relationship previous. Tried everything since to prove to my ex that I'm not a slag and I genuinely have put the life behind me and that it never meant I didn't love him. Had no support, was totally on my own the past 12 months. He's chatted to girls to try to distract himself for what has happened. He tells me to move on, but I also can't. I feel so unfairly judged. We both said we could have spent the rest of our lives together, but he can't get over what I've done. Genuinely was not a choice for me. Never did I think I would have to do that for money. Never did I think I would meet a man I genuinely want to have a family with. He still asks me around all the time, makes effort like that, but just can't seem to let go of something that was in the early stages of getting to know him. We weren't even together. I know early days are important, but I can't turn my life and mental state around in 3 months in order to keep someone I didn't know would even take me seriously. I want a fresh slate with him. I want us to be okay. Okay, there's a lot to unpack here. I don't think we can expect anyone to accept us for who we are. It doesn't really matter what you were doing. As you said, you weren't in a relationship, and I feel like with this, it's obviously difficult. Would I be able to get over that if I loved someone? Like, it would just take a lot of work, and I feel like you would have to be a really mature and stable person to be able to get over something like that, because obviously that is always like going to be in the back of your head, because oh, is that person going to cheat on me? Obviously it's completely different where it's your job. Obviously sometimes you have to do things that you don't want to do in order to get by, and like that's just completely fine, and that's just a personal choice. You shouldn't absolutely be judged for it, but you also shouldn't be around people who just can't accept you for who you are. And you know, some things are harder to accept than others, but at the end of the day, if that person was the love of your life, I do believe that it would kind of be, you know, you just need more understanding, and if he's not giving you that, then I don't think that you are losing out on anything, to be honest. Maybe he's just not the one, and you also can't be frustrated, because some people just don't have the ability to kind of get over stuff like that, and you also need to be respectful of that. So, you know, as much as you want him to be respectful of understanding where you came from, you also have to be respectful of where he's coming from, because otherwise you're just going to clash and it's just going to end up in a mess. So I would personally just take a step back. It's not your loss. You want someone who's going to accept you 100%, and doesn't matter what you were doing in your life, you know, and it doesn't frankly matter why you were doing it. You know, maybe even if you want to do it, even if it was a hobby of yours for a year, it shouldn't matter why. I think there's a bigger lesson to be learned here. You can't force someone into acceptance, but there's better, bigger things out there for you, and you will meet someone who's literally, you would tell them, you'd probably get worked up over telling them, and you tell them, they're gonna be like, so what? Like, so I have time for about 3 more questions, and I don't want to be boring anyone, but these are good ones. We're ending on a good note. So, keeping the spark after moving in together. Tips. I love how everyone's asking me like I know anything about living with a person. I feel like for things like that, it's important to have your alone time, but also schedule dates. And by alone time, I mean don't always be around the other person, right? Because I feel like that could probably get really boring. Like, make sure you still see a lot of your friends. Make sure you still do a lot of things on your own. Don't include your boyfriend or your significant other in every single plan you make. I feel like it's important to have your own plans. Make your own like holiday destinations with the girls, or if you're a guy, with the guys. Do stuff on your own so you have time to miss another person. But also every time you're with that person, make sure it's special. It is really, 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 really easy when you're living with someone to just stay on the couch and just do absolutely nothing. Like, that's not romantic and that's not sexy, you know? So as much as you want to have a good time, also have some intimate alone time that's just reserved for both of you, and like actually do get dressed up. And it's also good to do like more fun activities. So yeah, you might go to a festival or might go to a concert with all your friends, and your significant other might be there, but how about just going to TV? That's fun, you know, because like you can get drunk, you can sing, dance together, and that's fun, you know? That's like, I love that stuff. That's something I would love. Like, I don't necessarily only want to be, you know, wined and dined. You also need that balance of like just both of you doing fun things that you would typically do with your friends. But I do think it's about kind of creating that balance of, you know, doing things on your own, doing things with your friends, but also doing things with your significant other that you typically wouldn't do. Right, I broke up with my ex and he went off with someone 4 days later, and I'm sad. Well, of course you're sad, but I feel like a lot of that is your ego. Like, a lot of the time, when you break up with someone, you don't want to see them with anyone else, but that's not really because of them, it's because of you. Like, I've done that. I've broken up with someone and I knew I didn't want to be with them, and I was so over them, and then when they got with another person, I'd be like, are you kidding me? Like, I was like hurt. I was like, I can't believe you're not still crying over me, you know? But that's just ego. Like, that is just fully your ego. But you need to put that aside. You made a decision. You can't have your cake and eat it too. Of course you're gonna be sad. Like, I'm sure if that person gets married, you're gonna look at those pictures, you're gonna have a little bit of a moment, you know? And that's completely fine. That is completely fine. It's natural. You know, at the end of the day, you were with that person for a long time. I feel like if someone gets with someone right after a breakup, like, that's just a rebound, and that's just to kind of distract themselves from what they're going through. Wouldn't actually take it to heart, you know? It's not like he's, you know, met the love of his life 4 days after you guys broke up, you know? That's not realistic. You need to just be like, right, that's a distraction. I clearly broke his heart. Like, he can't apologize for the way he's trying to get over you, because at the end of the day, you kind of ended things. So right, so we're gonna finish up on a really, really, really positive question, which is how to find your self-worth after a breakup. I love this one. A lot of people will tell you, go pick up new hobbies, go do, you know, 100 things by yourself and find out what you like. No, I actually think the key to finding your self-worth is sitting on your couch on your own, where you used to sit with your partner, and sulking, and on days on end, and finally over time getting comfortable to that position. I think that's how you realize you are happy in yourself. Like, yes, it's all well and good to distract yourself with hobbies and book a spin class, go to F45, or go to, like, you know, bottomless brunch, go out, like, do all these things. Yeah, but that's a distraction. You're not actually getting to the root of the problem. I think the problem of like getting over someone starts when you're by yourself in an environment that you usually wouldn't be by yourself in, if that makes sense. I feel like that's really where self-growth comes into play. And I truly think that it's those nights that we spend on our own watching Netflix, eating takeaway or cooking, and it's silent, that's when you do a lot of thinking, and that's where a lot of your self-worth and self-growth comes from. So also, self-worth shouldn't come from another person. So just because you've broken up with someone, that shouldn't actually affect your self-worth. Your self-worth should always be untouchable. Whether you're in a relationship, whether you're single, you should 100% know the person you are and what you deserve. Look, there's no easy way to say this other than it just takes time, and it takes a lot of crying, it takes a lot of sulking by yourself. But eventually you're going to wake up one day and you're not going to think about that person, and you're also going to feel really good in yourself. And then it's time to, you know, branch out into new things. Don't run away from your problems just because you're sad and just because like you're not feeling it. Don't, like, most importantly, don't count on other people to kind of bring your self-worth back, because that's only your job. You have one job in this world, and that's to make yourself happy. You cannot ever expect anyone else to do that for you. I've been there. I've been through absolute hell and back when it comes to these things. I've had my self-worth absolutely shattered, I've had my ego shattered, and I've come out the other end. And I can safely say now that if I ever went through a bad breakup in the future, I don't think my self-worth would be affected. Yeah, of course I would be sad and stuff, like, I'm sure, like, yeah, but I've never doubted the person I am or what I deserve, you know. I was always set on that. So yeah, and I do think that is mainly because I had to deal with that stage of I didn't think I deserved anything good in my life, you know, and I thought I was like the worst person to be born, and I didn't think anyone would love me, and it's all those things. And when you go through a breakup, there's a lot of the, like, no one's ever gonna love me again, like, I'm never gonna love someone, like, no one's ever gonna accept me, like, bullshit. Like, that is the biggest lie ever. And if you're telling yourself that, then please stop, because there's like 8 billion people in the world. Like, if 99% of the planet found you unattractive, completely didn't want to be with you, I think there's still 7 million people that would, right? So if like everyone basically in the world found you unattractive, you still have 7 million people, which is a lot of people, may I add, that would absolutely love you. So like, just think about that. You're always going to be fine. You're going to get over your breakup. You're going to find someone that's going to think the sun absolutely shines out of your ass. But most importantly, you're going to find yourself, and you're going to feel amazing. And when you get over that, you'll be like, I don't even want to be with anyone, I just want to be by myself. And that is when you attract the positivity. But yeah, look, at the end of the day, it's night. Sorry, that's such a dad joke. Yeah, at the end of the day, like, life is more than boy problems and relationship problems. It's all about how you're feeling yourself. So that is powerful. That is our 2022 aesthetic. Powerful on your own. And if you find someone that loves and appreciates you, hold on to that person, because it's rare to find someone that's like really all about you. But just make sure that you're good first, you know. Right, so guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Again, don't forget to check out the Ana Luisa end of the year sale. I hope you all have a nice and safe New Year's Eve. Don't do anything I wouldn't do. Most importantly, don't do anything I would do. So just stay in the middle, balance, and I will see you all next year. I really want to say this, but don't forget to subscribe, like, drop me a comment, tell me what you think. If you think my advice is shit, let me know. Let's fight. Right, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna finish watching Spider-Man, gonna finish work, and I will catch you guys soon.